The first half of this year, there have been numerous events that have brought everyday life to a standstill for enormous numbers of people. The tsunami in Japan, the blizzards that hit Chicago and New York, and the tornadoes that tore through the cities in South Carolina, Alabama, and Missouri are just a few. In each of these cases, human activity was simply overwhelmed by the massive force of nature, such that the daily routines of life for those that were affected simply could not continue, and in some cases may have to be altered for years to come. It does not always take such a dramatic natural event to derail our daily routines. An unexpected sickness, the loss of a job, or the moving of a trusted friend can send us into times of brokenness and uncertainty. Even something as insignificant as problems surrounding internet access can bring entire multinational corporations to their knees, as both Sony and Amazon discovered earlier this year. Given the vicissitudes of life, it is inevitable that leaders in the church will face upheavals that bring even their most faithful plans to a halt. At such times, it is easy to succumb to one of at least two options. One is to give in to despair, to question why there is such unfairness in the world and become bitter about why even trying to do good when these random cataclysmic acts, which after all God should be able to control, stymie us on every turn. This, of course, would be a massive failure of leadership, leaving the leader and the followers with no hope or sense of direction. The second option is to muster on bravely, believing that we shall overcome the bad hand we have been dealt through our diligence, ingenuity, and courage. While we certainly do need to move forward, and certainly the leader who takes such a perspective and guides his or her followers to do the same would be generally lauded by outside observers, this route is too functionalistic. It hints that human life is found in its fullest by simply being busy in our daily routines, and that the press to reestablish some sort of normalized procedures for daily operation is the height of human achievement. It suggests that leadership is nothing more than good management, by helping people get their resources aligned properly so that they are producing the proper goods and services again. Psalm 46 offers an alternative vision for dealing with disrupted times. It suggests that the leader should neither give in to despair nor press forward in an attempt to regain normalcy. Instead, the leader should pause to orient himself or herself to the vision of God. 3 times in the psalm, God is described as a refuge. A refuge is a place to stop and stay for a while. It is a place of rest and safety. In the midst of the desolations described in the psalm, desolations that the psalmist even acknowledges having their origin in God's handiwork, God's voice is heard crying out to whoever will listen to it, "Be still and know that I am God." The faithful and wise leader will heed this call of God, repairing to God as his or her refuge until he or she can see the vision of who God is and how God would reach out in mission in the wake of the desolations that confront the church. This is, to be sure, a different style of leadership. It is one that does not seek glory by charging into the breach, but one that rests in God. Then, out of that rest, the leader emerges to provide steady, clear-eyed leadership for where God would have the church participate in the mission of God in this new situation. One critical note along with this is that leaders who would be still in the refuge of God during times of desolation must practice being still in the refuge of God during times of plenty. Faithful and wise leadership in the pattern of Jesus Christ is not something that we can generate within us at moments of particular crisis. It is a pattern that we must live into intentionally day after day. The leader best suited to be faithful to God and to move the church forward in times of desolation is the leader who has learned to be still in the refuge of God long before the desolation ever came.